Antarctica right now.
Welcome to Markey Tea Tuesday,
where the tea is always hot.
Okay. My first reading. It's fine. Hey, good morning.
Welcome back. This is a special edition, so it's not Tuesday. We're very aware, even though some days we don't know what day it is.
Yeah, sometimes the days just blend. Some weeks just, we're just on the go
together.
Yeah.
So there's been just a lot of information, especially coming up, and we'll just remind everybody here: file homestead,
Yes.
file homestead.
Literally, probably a week left?
Yeah.
Or so.
If you closed in 2025 as a primary resident, please file homestead. In Florida, you only have until February 28th. And if you close in 2024, just make sure that your homestead was approved. This is important. This
Very
is the
important.
last opportunity that you have until February 28th. So super, super, super important.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, if you refinance and the vesting changed, you should also be refiling for homestead.
You should just double check.
Yeah, just double check. So again, if you refinance and the vesting of the deed change by any means, just make sure that you don't have to file for homestead again.
Yeah, because any changes is going to trigger, and the county is normally going to send you a letter, but I know there's so much spam mail and all of that sometimes it can be very confusing. So
yeah,
just double check. So important. And if you have any questions, call us. If you need the episode, if you need the link or whatever, we can help you. But speaking of taxes, this is like a big controversy.
Yes.
I mean, how many calls have you gotten?
A lot. Yes, it's almost inevitable. Almost every homeowner is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, my payment went up. Why did my payment go up? Well,
especially new construction. I see that a lot with new construction. And the reason being is because when they buy the property, oftentimes the taxes are based off the land and not the actual structure. So a year goes by, they reassess the property, and now there's a whole structure there, and now your taxes are going up. I mean, I've had calls, people saying their payments gone up $500, $700, $800. So,
well, and a big thing too is that it's the lack of education there. And listen, I know too, because imagine somebody buys right now. Are you going to remember in a year?
Yeah.
When that I told you that. So I really do try to remind, we do try to educate as much as possible. Set a calendar reminder when you close for this time frame so that you're not missing out on that. Because what happens is, let's say the taxes go from $1,000 to $4,000. That's a $3,000 difference divided by 12, or at about $275.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is they also paid the taxes, so you also owe them additional $3,000, right? Because you didn't have enough money in there. So that's $275 times 2. And I don't know about you, but $550 a month in my mortgage.
Yes, that can. I mean, we have to refinance people at that point just to see if we can even make it any better for them, especially people that close in that 7%, close to the 8% rate.
Yeah.
So definitely, it's so important to make sure that you file for homestead.
And if you have any questions, please call. Just double check. We'll check for you. Call. We'll check the website, see if it was approved, see if it was filed. It's so important. And you might be able. And if you owned another house in the last 3 years, you actually have what's called portability too, which can save you. But it's huge because this goes into our next topic: is that there's been a rise in forbearance filings, also a rise in refinances, and a lot of it is because of this. Because we're worried about rate here, but to be honest with you, we should be more worried about property taxes, which there is a huge gap in different states for property taxes. I was talking to somebody from Texas, and they said that there's on average gone up huge, almost double.
Yes.
And so it's big.
Yeah, it definitely depends on your state. So just make sure that you know how your taxes for your property are calculated. We were just in Tennessee, and one of the moms that I was with, she's like, I wonder what property taxes, and they go based off 25% of the property assessed value. That's what their taxes are based off of. So
we all wish for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you need a second home in Tennessee, we know.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, and that's why DeSantis is coming out with this whole no property taxes. And it won't necessarily be no property taxes for everybody. It's just going to make, based on the current bill, it's going to make the homestead exemption a lot larger for the taxable value. So I think it's important to note that, if you're in $1.5 million house, you're not going to not have taxes. But it's to make it affordable for really, honestly, the middle and lower middle class, because that's where you're not taxed. Think about, you guys are worried about rate. Forget about rate. This is what makes affordability.
Yes.
I have a client that bought a $475,000 house, and the taxes were almost $8,000. I would have never even predicted that. And the county estimators, they're great, but they're not really that precise. And so taxes are a big thing. There's also been news out about tariffs, which is driving the market. That's why, we haven't really seen any major rate declines. We're definitely in stability mode right now, but no major moves either way. I do think this summer we'll see some moves, but I'm not sure. And then I know we saw the Fair Housing Act is getting some pushback.
Yes, due to the what was that?
It was disparate treatment. It was like,
Yeah.
so basically the Fair Housing 1968, they're just trying to make some changes so that it's more fair, and there's just a lot of back and forth, which it should be fair. It's a Fair Housing Act.
Right?
So,
But says it in there.
more details to come on that. But tariffs, like we said, are driving still. We saw an increase when the new Fed guy was officially announced. And with him, that's something else that we were reading, is that he actually wants to make it easier for large banks to lend to you, make it cheaper and easier, because they have lost market share by a significant amount. And you know why? Because you have brokers that can give you options. So I'm sorry, and I might ruffle some feathers here, but the government needs to step back, because they're getting money from big banks, which is why they want it to be easier for banks with mortgages, because they have these huge lobbyists. So you need to protect yourself as a consumer and understand that as a broker, we work for you, not
for the bank. Yeah.
When you go to that bank, that's the only option you get.
Yeah.
And
I think that's another thing too, right? We have a larger, like I like to say, like a catalog of options for you. Yes, there's conventional, but there's so many different programs that we can still explore for everyone. So I think it opens up a little bit more opportunity and just
that leads into
options.
Like hybrid loans. Like I had somebody call me yesterday that he went from W-2 to 1099, same job, but unfortunately, traditionally he can't qualify. But we have options. A bank would tell him no immediately, or lower credit score. So honestly, these banks getting these discounts is really not, I don't want to say fair, like there's nothing in life is fair, but it's really taking advantage of the system, because they're not lending to all the people they could. Yes, they do have rules where they have to lend to a certain amount of borrowers in lower impoverished areas. But once that limit's hit, I'm so sorry, if you have 580 score, they're not lending to you, and we might be able to get you that loan. So it's super important. But stay tuned for those type of things. But make sure you keep yourself educated and know that, like, as a broker, we work for you. There's no additional charges for you, like things like that, unless you're wanting to buy down the rate. So we're here to advocate for you, work for you, make sure you're getting the best options, the best loan, the best products, down payment assistance, things like that.
Those are very big right now too, just to make it a little bit more affordable for everyone. There are options out there. So I know we have the Florida bond, which is a great one. It's $10,000 for your closing costs and down payment. But, we just have to make sure you qualify. So maybe you think that that's exactly what you need, and maybe you don't. So definitely talk to someone that can go through your options and see what really makes sense for you.
So if you guys need anything, call us. And we just want to be here to educate you and break it down as easy
And we
as
will
possible.
be back on Tuesday.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.